Gwen, do you still recall a recent news about a teenager who attempted to commit suicide last month because he failed to achieve his 5-star target in his English oral presentation?
Yes, unfortunately, he was rescued and is now up and about again. However, to prevent similar incidents from happening again, we have prepared this special program to show everybody how to get a 5-star in presentation.
There were some really outstanding performances, and we are glad to have the authority to show you the video clips today.
Now, let's take a look at the presentation from a student of the Chinese Foundation Secondary School.
Morning everybody. Should people stop eating fast food, or should people cease putting their health at risk? It has been a controversial issue on whether eating fast food will adversely affect one's health.
Hey, why did you stop there? I want to hear more.
See, that's a good example of a successful beginning, which can arouse the interest of the audience. Now, let's watch another presentation.
Good morning. Today, I would like to share a thing with all of you, namely Supersize Me. It is directed by Morgan Spurlock. First of all, I would like to talk about the main idea. Spurlock wants to prove the physical and the mental effects of consuming fast food. Secondly, he wants to prove why most of the Americans are so fat with many cases of obesity.
Well, this student knows how to use connectives such as first of all and secondly, so the audience have a clear concept on what the speaker is saying and so find it easy to follow her speech.
Yes, it is very important to let the audience know what you are trying to say.
But besides first of all and secondly, do we have any other useful linking words to organize our ideas?
Yes, you may also use next, apart from that, what's more, to link up the ideas. Not only organization is the key for a good presentation, but also appropriate speed. We have another student who managed to achieve that point. Let's check it out.
Good afternoon, everyone. The book I'm going to share today is Mother Teresa, in my own words. From the 1950s, when Mother Teresa formed the Order of Missionaries of Charity, to winning the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979, to her final days, Mother Teresa served the world as a light of hope, comfort, and peace on all. She has become the yardstick by which the entire world measures compassion, generosity, and selflessness.
So I see what you mean by presenting ideas in an appropriate speed.
Now we have seen a presentation with a good start, a presentation with connectives, and a presentation in an appropriate speed.
Right. After knowing the skills we mentioned, we hope you can do the presentation well. Most important of all, you've got to practice more. You know, practice makes perfect.
Now it's almost the end of the program. Before we say goodbye, we'd like to show you the last presentation. Let's listen and check the strongest point of the presentation.
Mama died when you were born. If you weren't born, Mama would still be alive. She died because of you. You are bad luck. How would you feel if this was said to you? What would you do if the words bad luck were engraved on your forehead? I suppose many of you have heard the Cinderella story, but how many of you have heard about Chinese Cinderella? Today, I'd like to share the book Chinese Cinderella, the secret story of an unwanted daughter. This is an autobiography of the author, Adeline Yanma herself. She writes about her childhood, her Cinderella story. This girl worked harder than any of us here, only to prove worthy to her parents. Topping school and skipping grades was still not enough. Only until she won an international playwriting competition did her father realize her ability and think of her as something more than a speck of dust. This book not only gave me the picture of Adeline's childhood, but it also opened my eyes to a traditional Chinese family in those days. People were over-superstitious. How could one be judged when they were only just born? In addition to that, it also talked about some customs of those days, like feet binding and how men were always more important than female. We now live in the 21st century. Even though most women are lucky enough not to have bound feet, and an Einsteiness is no big deal, haven't you realized that most of the important people making all the decisions in China's government, or even Hong Kong's, are mostly male? Many of these traditional Chinese beliefs still remain. I think people should grow out of that kind of thinking and accept people as they are. This is not only an autobiography, but it is also something that touched the deepest part of my heart. I feel shame when I think about how Adeline had to work so hard for so little. All she wanted was to have the chance to take up further studies and have love from her parents. But she had to work so hard to get this chance. We all have the pleasure of studying, but have we ever cherished this opportunity? Also, most of us here have a pair of loving parents, but now I tell you we should not take this for granted. To conclude, I love this book and I have read it time after time since I was 7 years old. This girl's childhood has attracted me. This book is not only an autobiography, but it is also something that touched the deepest, it is also something that opened my eyes to the world. This is definitely a good book, and I strongly recommend it to every one of you here. This is the end of my sharing. Thank you.
Today's program has come to an end. Wish you all have a 5-star presentation. Have a nice day.